Good afternoon, guys. It is October 29th, 2022. On this video here, I want to explain a few things about Kirby vacuum cleaner brush rolls. Now, there's a lot of misconceptions out there with Kirby vacuum cleaner brush rolls, and I want to kind of explain a few things because I find a lot of people are getting very confused and they don't understand the purpose of these different things that I'm going to show you. Now, there are settings for the brush height, which is controlled by this pedal here. And basically, what that allows you to do is raise and lower the nozzle. And you do this every time until the brush makes contact with the carpet and it vibrates. And you always raise it up, when you're finished using it. Basically, when you turn it off, you make sure that the transmission is in neutral, and you always raise the nozzle to the highest position possible so you can easily roll it across the floor, pick it up, and do whatever. But aside from that, you do have brush settings. Now, you're going to take your nozzle off and you're going to rotate the belt lifter until the red arrows line up, and then unlock the nozzle and lift it off the Kirby. Now, there's a few things that I recommend here, and we're going to be looking at the nozzle. Trying to get in a position that you guys can see. Okay. So basically what you're going to do is, for me personally, I always rotate the belt lifter back to the green arrows so I don't stretch out the belt, because there's a hook in here that catches the belt and stretches it up into the nozzle so it can go onto the shaft. So I don't know if you can see that hook in there, but that's constantly pulling the belt up. So you want to make sure that that belt is loose. And this is how you would also change a belt. Now, if you notice, there is a diagram here. There's a 1 with long bristles, a 2 with slightly shorter bristles, and a 3 with shorter bristles. Now, what that is settings for your brush. Now, as these bristles wear down, you are going to, they become shorter and shorter with wear. That's with every vacuum cleaner brush roll on the market. I don't care what brand it is. I don't care what price range it is. It is always going to happen. You're always going to have your bristles wear down. It's just like any other brush. Like your toothbrush wears out and cleaning brushes wear out, things like that. It's the same exact thing. Now, one thing that you can do is you want to make sure that the bristles are touching a straight ruler. Like if you take a ruler and you see from this angle that it's touching the ruler. If the bristles barely touch the ruler or don't touch the ruler at all, then you'll need to adjust the brush roll. And to do that, you unlock these latches here in the back and remove the rug plate by pulling up and then slightly shifting it forward to undo the notches and the grooves in the front here. So basically what you're left with here is there are numbers on the sides of the brush roll. On the ends, you want to note which number you see. In this case, it's a number 1. If your vision is not as great, maybe you're visually impaired or maybe you're just older, there are indentations in the ends that you can actually kind of feel. If you feel one indentation, then that's a sign that it's on the first setting, number 1. Now, there are 3 settings for your brush roll. So before you take your brush out, make sure that you know what setting it was on. If you're just changing the belt, you most likely don't need to adjust the brush roll. Generally, like every few years, you probably might need to, especially if you use this thing on a regular basis. But you basically just want to make sure that you know what setting it was on. You want to look at both ends. And it should be the same number on each end. So in this case, there's a number 1. I can actually see it on camera there. So, and it's going to be the same on both ends. So anyway, now your light on the side of the power nozzle is going to be powered by a magnet here. As it spins past that light, it's going to cause it to light up. So now that's basically your belt indicator there. If it is on continuously, then your belt is in good condition. If it flickers or doesn't come on, then it's not working properly. And either the belt is not engaged on the pulley or it's stretched out and needs to be replaced. So basically with so you note the number that you see on the ends of the brush. Before you take anything out, look at the ends, see what number you see. Generally, especially if your Kirby is not that old, or you have a new brush roll, generally the rule of thumb is just to leave it on number 1. But if it is worn, you can adjust it. Now, on the ends, basically changing a belt, you just take it off, put a new belt on, make sure it rests in the center of the brush, and that's that. But we're talking about the brush primarily here. So, let's see if I can get in a good position for you to see this. I'm trying, guys. So, yeah, you have the numbers on the end. So you got 1, 2, and 3. And you have that on both ends. Now, if you change this number, the number has to be the same on each side. And this is another thing I'm going to say. With this, there's been a lot of false information out there about what these settings are actually for. These settings on the brush itself, the numbers on the ends here, that is only to be used when the brush is worn. It is in no way, shape, or form a height adjustment or settings for different piles of carpet. That pedal there that you adjust when you use it, that is what is used for the pile of your carpet, not the settings on the brush. So, in my case, I literally got this machine like a year and a half ago, and the guy who had it before, he serviced it and cleaned it up for me before I got it, and he put in a brand new brush roll. So, and I haven't really used it very hard. I haven't used it a whole lot. So, it's good on number 1. Now, you want to make sure that you are absolutely sure that the brush needs to be adjusted before you adjust it. You want to make sure that you do the ruler test. You put the ruler along the edge of the bottom plate, and if the bristles are barely touching the ruler, or they aren't touching the ruler at all, you know that it needs to be adjusted. If it is touching the ruler and it's slightly higher than the ruler as the ruler is flush with the plate, your bristles are completely fine. Do not adjust it. Because what that will do is if you over adjust this, you can cause problems. First of all, you can cause more wear and tear on your carpet because it's like forcing into your carpet and you never want to do that. Brush roll bristles have never dug deep into carpet under any circumstances. What they do is they comb the tips of the fibers to open the fibers to release the dirt. So if these are like the fibers, and they're all kind of matted, the brush is only designed to comb the tips of them so that way it can open up the fibers to allow the air to pull any dirt from down in there. It never combs and just reaches down in, ever. That has never, ever been what a brush roll does. And so you'll cause more wear and tear on your carpet, but also you will be burning through belts way faster, which is not good. Kirby belts can last quite a long time, but if you don't use your Kirby correctly, you can be burning through belts. And I have heard a lot of complaints of, well, for some reason my Kirby always has a burning smell to it. And that is because that belt is strained and it's slipping because you either have a worn belt or you are misusing it, lowering your nozzle too low or lowering the brush too low. And so to avoid that, you basically just keep it on the setting. Generally, if your Kirby is new and you've only had your Kirby a year or so, you generally don't need to adjust it. If your Kirby is 5, 10, 15 years old, you might need to adjust it. But again, make sure that you're absolutely sure by doing the ruler test, and if the bristles touch or are slightly higher than the ruler, then it does not need to be adjusted. And if it was on number 1, you only move it up to number 2 if it has to be adjusted. Because you don't want to put a new brush all the way up on 3, because that's just going to cause a lot of wear and tear on your carpet, wear and tear on your machine, and just not help it be as efficient. So in my case, since this brush is pretty darn new, it was brand new a year ago, I'm going to put it back in at number 1. Now, you want to rotate the ends until it's at number 1. So there we go. And you want the numbers to be facing the bottom of the nozzle. Whoops. Almost knocked down the camera. So you want the numbers to be facing you. If the nozzle's upside down, you want the numbers to be showing here. So rotate both ends to number 1. This is especially true if your brush roll is new, like mine. what this is just for wear. It is not for cleaning performance, it's just for wear and tear. Now, make sure that it's on there. And do not be like me and forget your belt, because I just forgot to put the belt on. So I'm going to have to take that out and put it back on. So you slide your belt on. Make sure it's in the center of the brush. And then rotate the ends to the number 1 setting. So like I said, you want to make sure that they're at the same number on both sides. It should not be at 1 on one side and 3 on the other, or vice versa. Should not be like that. Want it on the same number of notches on both ends of the brush. And it will only fit the correct way because the magnet goes on the side with the light. It will only fit one way, so you can't mess it up that way. Now, basically just turn the belt lifter till the red arrows line up. And make sure that it's lined up good. I'm gonna check it off camera here. So, and then you're gonna put your bottom plate on. So, bottom plate goes on, little slats and hooks in the front, and then you pull it over the back, and then you lock it in by these little latches that lock it in place. And then with the belt lifter in the belt off position, you're going to take your nozzle and you're going to put it on the front of the Kirby. You're going to feel it drop. These hooks drop on to this bar. So basically I just grab it by the belt lifter itself and it'll just line up. And as it rocks back and forth, now that it's on, and you're going to tilt it up, lock that latch, and then turn the belt lifter till the green arrows line up. Those are some basic tips on the Kirby brush rolls. Again, like I said, you want to make sure that you're not playing around with the settings unless you absolutely are positive that your brush is worn and it needs to be moved to the next setting. And so these brushes will last a very long time this way because you can get 3 times the life out of this brush roll on these Kirbys as you can on just a regular machine, standard machine. That is something that is very special about these Kirbys, and I do appreciate the design. But you just have to be mindful and you have to be careful and know how it works and when to use it and when not to use it. So, I hope this is helpful. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.